All right, Brit Lit, happy Monday, or I hope it's as happy as it can be for a Monday. Because even if you are stuck at home, it's still a Monday. There's still a certain dissatisfied feeling towards that. At least it is for me. I don't want to wake up this morning, but here we are. So anyway, what you're going to be doing this week is going to seem like a lot at first. And if you guys have already hopped on the grade link and have seen what you're doing this week, you're probably a little bit scared, and you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? This is so much. But while what you are reading this week is a lot, because it's a little over 20 pages, and 20 pages of just full text stuff. I know that you guys can do it, and I just wanted to explain exactly what you would be doing this week, just so you can understand it a little bit better. So what you're doing this week is you are reading a scholarly interpretation of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and for those of you that are already familiar with the larger story, you'll be reading something that focuses on Philosopher's Stone, but also draws upon a lot of information and a lot of content from the rest of the larger saga, at least up until Goblet of Fire, because I don't think when it was written that the next three books had been written at that point. But anyway, so basically what you're going to be doing is you will be reading the article, summarizing it, and then responding to it. And then if you're not familiar with the story, you'll be doing that with two separate articles, but doing it as a complete cohesive thing. But let's go ahead and hop on over to GradeLink, and I'll show you what you'll be doing exactly. So we'll hop on over here and go see what you should be doing. So here it is. Okay. All right. So let's hop on over to y'all's teacher page. Being very slow this morning. I apologize. All right, so English 11 right here. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is I would click on this and open that in a new tab so you can see what's going on, and that'll take you over to here. All right, so let me talk you through what this assignment's actually going to be. So depending on your level of familiarity with the saga, you'll read a particular academic article that interprets the story through a specific idea. So if you are familiar with the larger story, you're going to read this article by Emily Greisinger. She is a fantastic Christian literary scholar, and for those of you, well, you all know who she is, but Holland actually used her in her thesis on Jane Eyre. She wrote a fantastic thing and used her as a big source for that. So she's great. I really enjoyed reading through the article, and I hope you guys enjoyed as well. But if you are not familiar with the larger story, you're going to download and read these two articles. And these two look a little shorter than this one, but ultimately, when you combine them together, they're about the same length as the Greisinger article. So just make sure that you actually get both of them if you're not familiar with the larger story. And I'm doing this on purpose because Greisinger spoils a lot of major plot points. If you are not familiar with the larger story and you're interested in continuing to read or experience the rest of the story, however you want to. But so basically what you're going to do is you will read the article or articles, and then you will summarize the content according to the author and author's argument, which basically means that you're going to write a summary according to how you learn to write those summaries for Screwtape, for each individual Screwtape letter. And then you will respond to the author's arguments. So after you do the summary, that's going to respond to the arguments. And you can answer questions like, do you agree or disagree with what they're saying? Do you want to add anything further? Do you think that they missed something that they didn't address? And why did they not address this particular thing? Would you have addressed this? And do you believe that the author missed the mark on something? So in other words, do you believe that the author, misinterpreted something, or they didn't completely understand something, or why did they leave out this major idea? You can look at those kind of things, but in that response, in order to support your own arguments for or against the author, you will need to include some textual evidence from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone that is not already included in the text of the article itself. Now, the article is going to use a lot of stuff from the novels themselves. You need to use something when you're quoting something from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone that the author hasn't already quoted, okay? Because that's just taking what they've already used. I want you to find something else. I want you to find something else to support it. You guys know the book really well. You know where things are. If you need help trying to find something, the online resources like SparkNotes Something like that would be very helpful to just like, go back and try to remember where certain things happen if you need that. So here's some more thorough instructions. The summary of the article should take up no more than 1.5 written pages and needs to remain as objective and free of critique as possible. And notice here that you'll write the summary portion according to the same style and structure that you used when you wrote the summaries of each individual letter from Screwtape. But keep in mind that as you did with Screwtape, because those letters were only like 5, 6, 7, 8 paragraphs, and I'd have you write a summary statement for each paragraph. You do not have to do that with this, but it's that same kind of idea, because if you wrote a summary statement for each paragraph of this, it would literally take you forever. So what I want you to do is think about writing that summary statement for each page rather than doing that for each individual thing. And that means that your statements may be a bit longer, but you could say, Greisinger argues that whatever it is, and she supports that with these particular lines of thinking. And then you could have 3 things that happen on those pages, and that probably would be the best thing you could do. So what's her main point, and then you can put some supporting points underneath it and put that all in one statement. And then you should be able to just wrap all that up as you're working through it. But some of you, maybe you want to outline. Maybe you want to outline the article itself, and that may be a better thing. If you know how to do that, that might be an easier thing for you to do. But other than that, it should be pretty straightforward, and you should be able to do this. It's just going to take some time. So after you summarize it, your response to the article should be at least 2 complete pages. Now within that, you're free to critique and respond to the arguments in a more subjective and opinionated manner. However, you will still need to do so in an academic voice, which means that there should be no use of I or personal collective pronouns such as we, and of course don't use you as well. Okay, so don't do any of that, and then you guys should be fairly good on, and you should know what you're doing on this. So notice on grading, you don't have a formal rubric down here, but as long as you complete the assignment and you followed most of the directions by Friday, you get major amount, you pass it if you do all of that. And then the rest of your points, the rest of the 30 points are there from here. Your summary is at least 1.5 pages, it gives you 5 points. Your response is at least 2 pages, it gives you 15 points. And then you use external textual evidence from Philosopher's Stone, that's 10 points. Now, of course, I'm not really going to count off on, things that I would normally count off on because this is new. However, if there are a ton of grievous errors and there's it's not really written well, I'll deduct points from that, of course, and that'll come out of this. But I won't do that a whole lot, just because I know this is going to be a bigger assignment and you guys are going to be doing something that you're not familiar with. But I know that you guys can do it because you're smart, and I'm really excited for you guys to read this stuff, because this is the kind of stuff that I read while I was in college, and I think it's something that you should be exposed to, just because it is this higher mode of thinking, and it's going to require a lot of more critical thought on your part to be able to do it. But I know that you guys can. So if you got any questions, if things don't make sense with this whole assignment, just let me know. I'm not going to walk you through the individual articles themselves, because I know you guys can do that on your own. But if you do need help with anything, just let me know, and I will expect your completed summary and everything, and your completed summary and response by Friday, because it's the only thing you have to do. So if you scroll down on that document, it'll tell you that you need to name your new Google Doc with your last name, comma, Potter S/R, just for summary and response, and just to share that with my RCA email, and all that information is listed there at the end. So if you got questions, let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to turn you guys loose to get started on this, and I am really excited to see what you guys come up with, and I'll leave it at that.